So, as Christians, we believe that God created the earth in 6 days and then took a day to rest. This is written down in the creation account in Genesis 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that the light was good, and separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. There was evening, there was morning, the first day. And this goes on and on throughout the chapter and throughout the first part of the book of Genesis. And we know this as Christians, like this is what we hold on to. But there's another belief system out there called atheism that believes that the earth was created out of chance, the universe was created out of chance in this phenomenon called the Big Bang. The Big Bang basically tries to explain what we read in the Bible by a mass exploding into the earth and the stars and everything that we see, and it all happening all by chance. Is that there's no way that it could have all happened by chance. Statistics don't match up. Like, if someone were to win the lottery 2 times, you would question it. But if they were to win it a 3rd time, you would think that they were rigging the system. That's basically what the Big Bang does and what the scientific community does when they're presenting research. I'm going to talk more about the beliefs of science in a little bit, but the thing is that there's no way that there's not an intelligent designer in creation. This is called the fine-tuning argument or the teleological argument. And the teleological argument tries to explain that what we see out there has to be created and for purpose of life. So the teleological argument says 3 basic things. The universe is designed, signs of design are evidence, and these signs point towards a designer. This may sound redundant, but in apologetics we need to cover all of our bases so that we can adequately share information with people and defend our faith, which is what we're called to do. I'm not completely discounting the scientific community. Thanks to the scientific community, we have medical advances, and we know more about the universe than we ever have before. We know the origins of stars, and we know what they're made of, and how our ecosystem works, and all of these different discoveries are made by science. So I'm not saying that the scientific community is wrong. I'm saying that they're wrong in these 2 things, and the 2 things are being macroevolution, which is the change of one species to another. So for example, it's the belief that monkeys evolved into humans. That is what macroevolution is, the change of species. And the second thing that they're wrong on is the age of the earth and the origin of the earth. The scientific community will age the earth at 4.5 billion years old, and the Christian community ages the earth not any older than 10,000 years, but more around 6,000 years. And that depends on whether you're an old earth creationist or a new earth creationist or a young earth creationist. And I'm proposing that those are really the only 2 conflicts between the scientific community and the Christian community. In light of this, the teleological argument is a really good way to bring in these scientific facts and discoveries into the conversation of creation. The reason that the teleological argument is so good at this is because it brings the 2 universes together. It brings science into creation. I have this little handy-dandy piece of paper that Mr. McGillicuddy gave us, and it's evidences for fine-tuning, and there's 33 of them on this piece of paper. Some of them are the ratio of electrons to protons in mass. If electrons and protons were any bigger or any smaller, the world would basically explode. And it's things like that God knew that this is exactly how it needed to be, and so he made it that way. And it's a really good way to explain that, like, hey, we know where this came from and we know how it works because the scientific community gave us this information. The reason we know where it came from is because we know that things were created by God. It gives them a sure answer on the origin of things because the scientific community thinks, oh, it just happened by chance. It just is something that, it's all by chance. And like I said earlier, the statistics just don't line up. This is my presentation on the teleological argument, and I hope you all have a good day.